The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, and as always, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Labor's Local 663, Shelter Insurance Agents, Grant Baker and Aurora, Sean Holman in Lockwood, the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, and Great Southern Bank. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Certainly glad that you have tuned in here on this very cold, wintry day. And wherever you may be listening from, we appreciate the opportunity to come into your lives and kind of talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of high school sports here at the Missouri Sports Network. First off, we're just going to run down through some of the scores from last night. There were some games played. Most games, especially in Southwest Missouri, were canceled at the district level, and a lot of the Class 4s and 5 games that are even scheduled for tonight have been postponed and moved back at least to Friday night. One in particular is in the Ozark Conference. Bolivar, who is 8-1 in the conference, was scheduled to take on Kickapoo, who is 9-0, and that would go a long way to determine who wins that conference or if there is indeed a share of that conference. So they have moved that game to tomorrow evening. But as far as what went on last night, we'll just kind of run through some of the girls' scores from a night ago. Big show coming up here in about 8 or 10 minutes. We'll have Licking basketball coach, women's basketball coach Steve Rissler on, and then Nolan Mathis from Lesterville, along with his head coach, Jason St. Jem. And as Nolan not only went over the 1,500 points in his career, he also set the all-time career scoring record at Lesterville. So we'll talk with him as well at about 2:20, 2:30. Coach Howard from McCallie Catholic, girls basketball coach there, and he will join us, kind of give us an update on his district and what they've got coming up. Then at 2:40 from Salisbury High School, head coach Ken Wyatt, whose team is playing awfully well right now as they head into a district championship with, I believe, Harrisburg. But Salisbury is 22-2 on the season. But Coach Wyatt picked up his 700th victory of his career earlier this week. And then we round out the show with Dora girls basketball head coach Cole Garnett. But first, without further ado, we'll get to the girls' scores here from last night. We'll start in Class 1 in a district semifinal. District 16, South Nottoway defeats Mound City 65-11. South Holt in that same district defeats North Nottoway 39-38. In Class 2 District 6 semifinal, Scotland County defeats Princeton 57-29. And again, these are girls' scores from last night in that Class 2 District 6 other semifinal. Schuyler County defeats Canton 55-52. In Class 3 District 5 semifinal from a night ago up in St. Charles, Duchesne defeats Brentwood 47-20. And in Class 3 District 5 semifinal on the other side, this game played at Louisiana. Ellsbury defeats Louisiana 34-24. Class 3 District 6 semifinal in Monroe City, South Shelby defeats Monroe City 42-16. And Palmyra over Highland 61-53. In Class 3 District 7 in Moquay, it was Montgomery County over North Callaway 55-32. And Herman defeats Father Tolton 63-52. In Class 3 District 8, again, these are girls' scores from last night presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Tipton moves on as they defeat Cole Camp 65-19. And Stover, the 4 seed, defeats 3-seeded Russellville 44-35. Class 3 District 14, semifinal number 1, the 5 seed, Barstow upsets University Academy Charter, who is the 1 seed, 56-43, and then Lone Jack in the other semifinal defeats Lafayette County 52-41. In games outside of districts, Kickapoo defeats Columbia Battle 59-42. These are girls' scores. Benton over Center 78-33. Kearney defeats Ruskin 58-27. St. Pius X out of Kansas City over Lafayette St. Joe 47-36. Lee Summit North 11 better than Lee Summit West 53-42. Core Yazoo Academy 49-34 over Nerix Hall. Central High School out of Kansas City defeats Northeast High School out of Kansas City 45-31. And Notre Dame St. Louis defeats Northwest Cedar Hill 49-38. Orchard Farm over Francis Howell North 53-49. Grandview defeats Platte County 70-30. Park Hill over Ray Peck 59-32. Rockbridge defeats Elias Catholic 57-42. And Visitation over Villa Duchesne 57-47. Those are your scores from last night on the girls' side, including the district. As we move over here to the boys' side, as we preparing here to visit with Steve Rissler, the head coach at Licking. On the boys' side from last night, Class 1 District 6, Rich Hill over Mount Rose 44-35. Hume defeats Miami 44-30. In Class 1 District 9, it was Northwest of Hughesville 76-50 over Otterville. And in the other semifinal was the 2-seed Leeton 69-36 over Kingsville. In Class 1 District 10, Wellsville Middletown 50, Jamestown 32, Higbee over Pilot Grove 75-60. In Class 1 District 11, North Shelby defeats Brashear 73-44. Atlanta over Novinger 57-35. And in Class 1 District 13 on the boys' side, Oric, the 4-seed, upsets Hardin Central 55-45. And the other semifinal, Bramer over Southwest Livingston County 71-55. Class 1 District 14, Green City over Mercer 78-33. Grundy County over Tri-County 67-59. Stanberry, Class 1 District 15 semifinals. Stanberry over Northland Christian 58-39. And Winston defeats St. Joe Christian 45-41. Class 2 District 5 semifinals. Van Far, the 4-seed, upsets Northeast Cairo 58-55. And Clopton over Sturgeon 38-31. Class 2 District 7 semifinals, Salisbury 58-53 over Slater. And Harrisburg defeats Westran 54-50. Class 2 District 8 semifinal, Lincoln over Sweet Springs 52-39. Sacred Heart defeats Smithton 54-49. And Lakeland in Class 2 District 14 over Wellington Napoleon 73-48. And in the other semifinal, Crestridge defeats Archie 53-41. Class 2 District 16, Bishop LeBlond over Tarkio 72-41. And North Andrew defeats King City 62-31. Those are your boys and girls district scores from a night ago. Certainly glad that you have tuned in. If you've got an Athlete of the Week nomination, please send us an email at Missouri Sports Network at gmail.com. That's Missouri Sports Network at gmail.com. As Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week, we mention them every week throughout the season, throughout the entire school year, and even on into the summer. You can follow us also at Scoreboard Guy on Twitter and also at Missouri_sports on Twitter as well. And we welcome into the show now. We've got the head coach from Licking. Head coach Steve Rissler has been kind enough to join us here today on a snowy day in southwest Missouri, and he's probably getting some snow there as well. And Coach Rissler, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks. It's I almost missed it. I was outside taking the trash out.
Oh, no, you are fine. Coach, kind of run down your district and where you guys stand right now and what the rescheduling, if you've had to do any, looks like for that district.
So we were the 1 seed and we played we got a first round bye, and then we played the 4 seed, which is Mountain View Liberty. And on Monday, we were able to win that game and advance to the championship game, and we'll face Mansfield, who knocked off Hartville for the 3rd time this year. and we were supposed to play tonight. It's been tentatively pushed back to tomorrow, but they don't think that they're going to be able to get the parking lots clear. So we're trying to find another date, but now we're talking about official issues because everybody's already booked up, and with Class 4 or 4, 5, and 6 starting, it's going to be slim to try to find officials to call the game. So, and on the boys' side, it's Thayer and Hartville. So, I mean, there's two big games to be played.
Yeah, where's that district being played?
It's at Houston. Houston got a brand new gym. This is the first year they opened it. It's a really nice facility, really great locker rooms, great sound system, and good PA guy. It's a really good facility.
Any thought of maybe moving? Would that help?
I don't know. I've talked to Coach Hall, Brent Hall, the Houston's baseball coach, is the AD over there, and he's just trying to find what's best for us. I told him if we can get good officials and have to wait till Monday or Tuesday, I'd rather even do that. So we'll get it in before Wednesday. So
now consecutively, this has got to be probably at least maybe 4 out of the last 5 years that you guys have been in this district championship game, if I'm not mistaken.
It's 6, but who's counting?
Yeah.
No, this is if we can win this one, it'll be our 8th in 10 years.
8th in 10 years.
And this is our 9th. We lost last year in the district championship. Stillville was good last year. They ended up going on to the Final Four, beat Miller and Stratford to get there. So, they were legit last year, and we lost to them in the district championship. But, yeah. So, yeah, this is our 9th district championship.
As you look at Mansfield team, Mansfield comes in at 23-4, so they've had a tremendous season as well. And anytime you can beat a good quality Hartville team, but also do that 3 times in the same season, that's a huge accomplishment just to get there.
Oh yeah, they've got one of the better guards in the area. People are starting to take notice of her name. She's actually a twin, but this girl's name is Logan Jones, and her sister's good too. She's Lauren Jones. I think they're number 3 and number 4. And the Lauren is left-handed, and she's more of the 3-point shooter. Logan's more like the other night. She had like 26 points, like 16 rebounds against Hartville, and she guarded McKinley Sanders all night. And McKinley's an all-stater, Coach Sanders' daughter. And, so she guarded her all night, had 25 plus points and 16 rebounds. She probably stands about 5'6". So, yeah, I mean, she's going to be trouble for us because of her quickness, her speed. And they shoot a lot of mid-range jumpers, which a lot of teams don't do that anymore. So, we just have to focus on, trying to contest every shot because we do have a lot of length. Just try to make each shot as hard as possible.
As you look at the possibility of maybe having to move that game into a Monday or a Tuesday, what does that do as far as your turnaround? And whomever wins that game, where would they be headed next?
The sectional game is going to be at Missouri S&T on Wednesday, and we play in a tournament there over Christmas break. So, and we've played there a lot, so it's pretty familiar to us. It would be the winner of Steelville and Lynn, which Steelville's still really good, and I mean I think they'll be there. So I don't think they'll have any trouble with Lynn. Lynn's had a good year, but Steelville's I think they're a top 10 team for sure. So I think that's who will be there for either us or Mansfield.
You bet. What do you do between now and then? I mean, obviously, and I don't know what the roads are like in your particular area, but here where I am in Southwest Missouri, I'm looking outside. My road is completely covered. It's packed down. Some of the main roads are okay, but what's it like there, and what are you able to get out?
No, it's bad. I actually just moved back into town, so it's bad. It's straight ice everywhere. Coach Hall said they tried to run a blade on their parking lot, and it's just nothing. It's not even cracking or anything. So we're going to need the temperature to rise a little bit to start some thaw if we have any hopes to play tomorrow. But we were actually able to practice yesterday. My AD said if we got it in before, if the girls could be home by 11, then we could get a practice in. And as far as I know, we were like one of the only schools that got to practice yesterday. So we got one in. I know Mansfield didn't. My friend at Crocker, he didn't get to play. He's playing for a district championship too against Newburgh, supposed to be soon, tonight or tomorrow. So, but and I talked to Gary Green this morning. He's Mansfield's coach, and he said they might not get to practice again before we play. So, I think that goes into our favor, I believe, because we play 9-10 kids. And when you take 3 days off, even if you're in great shape, you're still gonna, when you add in the adrenaline dump that kids get playing in a district championship, the first quarter could be, I could be seeing person number 10 getting in early, depending on all that stuff. So,
Are you guys talking about the Licking Lady Wildcat? You guys relatively healthy right now?
Yeah. We got two, Hannah and Kata. Hannah Medlock and Kata Cook are stepsisters, and they're both kind of under the weather, but they've been, taking all the over-the-counter stuff and pumping themselves full of, vitamin C and all the good stuff to try to get back healthy. But I don't think it's anything serious. A lot of people are sick right now. Kylie Ingram was really sick right before the Liberty game. She's throwing up before the game starts, and I didn't even acknowledge her. I was like, she's a senior. They're trying to end her career. I said, everybody's sick, everybody's bruised. We just got to be tough. You can be tough for an hour and then go home and, take your meds or whatever. So she did. But other than that, we're injury free, and we're ready to go.
And that moving that back may even benefit, those young ladies as well, being able just to kind of get over that hump and get to where they're feeling a lot better going into that district championship game.
Yeah, I know Kata yesterday. The day we had practice, I sent her. We had a film sesh, and then we were getting our shots up, and I sent those two home to go to have some breathing treatment, and then slept. And later on, I heard from Kata, and she said that she actually slept for 6 hours after having a full night's sleep. So there's, she wasn't feeling well, but she'll never say a word. She's really tough. Me, if I have a cold, I'm calling in sick. But girls are usually tougher than guys when it comes to the cold stuff. But she's really tough. And then Hannah is our little guard who went nuts. She had 19 in the first quarter the other night against Liberty, and she was just in the zone, So.
As you look and you've been able to get and be around the boys' side of that district, kind of handicap that a little bit. I know you mentioned Thayer and Hartville, and Thayer is awfully good, and Hartville obviously has had a tremendous run over the last few years.
Yep. I mean, and Thayer had a deep run last year. Didn't they lose in quarters to Live for Life, maybe?
Sounds about right. I can look that up.
I think that's right. And oh man, I don't know. That's it's hard to bet against Brett Reed after last year, but I know a lot of his horses are gone. But man, I don't know. I think that's why I told our fans, because we're trying to do a double championship now. I said, if you don't get there when the doors open, every seat's going to be blue and green, and those people don't move. They don't, they'll sit there through the girls' game just to have good seats. So, I can't pick. Both those coaches are legit. They both have great teams. I mean, on paper, Thayer looks good, but you can't underestimate the heart of a champion. And I think Hartville, they've got such great tradition. They expect to win. It doesn't matter who they're playing. And that's kind of where we're at. I think we're to that level right now. Where we're playing so confidently, we expect to win every game. No matter who we're going up against. So I can't pick that one.
Yeah. Well, I've seen both of them play this year. So Hartville in the blue and gold, and then Thayer actually came up and played in the Bolivar tournament and beat Bolivar
and won
in the championship. Yeah. And so that was impressive, on their part. And Bolivar's had a tremendous season, and they're trying to get, they've got a game that they still have to play with Kickapoo to decide the Ozark Conference, and it was had to have been moved to tomorrow night. And then, like you said, a lot of those class 4, 5, and 6 districts start on Saturday. Now, Bolivar and Kickapoo's case, they're among the top seeds, but it's still, it's still something that's going to put a lot of pressure on them physically to make that turnaround playing a conference championship game or what amounts to a conference
Yeah.
championship game, and then go right into districts.
And like all the high level officials have been drafted.
Right.
Like, so if games are pushed back, like they're full every night, you know what I mean? And
Right.
I mean, who are you going to get to ref that game? Bolivar and Kickapoo boys? I mean, you got to get the best, right? But then you're going to take them from a district championship. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in that situation.
You bet.
So,
well, Coach, as always, we certainly appreciate you being generous with your time here today. And I know it's a lot of people are cooped up at home, not much to do right now, but so we got maybe a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, so far today I've watched about 3 games, 3 of Mansfield games. I watched a Steelville game, and now I just watched the Fab Five on 30 for 30 with Chris Webber, and then I just started the Last Days of Night. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Bobby Knight. So I'm trying to get in the mood, trying to keep my basketball mind, so stay sharp no matter when we get to play.
Hey, you bet. Well, Coach, hey, we greatly appreciate you being part of High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, and we're going to take a quick time out and come back and talk with Nolan Mathis, who is at Lesterville High School, just set the new career scoring record for Lesterville. But, Coach, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Guy. Thank you.
You're watching the Missouri Sports Network here at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, and we will take a quick time out, and we will be back with Nolan Mathis from Lesterville High School.
You want to go out, Walter? Let's go.
Pace yourself.
You call that defense?
Make it quick, buddy.
One evening as the sun
That
went
should
down,
shed
the
some light on the
jungle
subject.
fire was burning.
Where'd you get that bone, pal?
How you doing? I got a package for you.
No, Walter! He's a civil servant!
That's
incredible. Oh, yeah. It's a Chevy Silverado Trail Boss. This thing's built for off-roading right from the factory.
No, I meant the cat.
It's like nobody's seen a cat before.
The Chevy Silverado Trail Boss.
Hey, Walter, let's get this man some hot cocoa.
Oh, that sounds good.
Find new friends, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network. Certainly glad you tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. We're pleased to be joined now by the all-time career scoring leader at Lesterville High School, Nolan Mathis. And Nolan, hey, thanks for being part of the show today.
Thanks for having me, man.
You bet. You bet. Now take us through your career. Do you remember your first point that you scored?
I do remember my first point I scored. I was in the AV tournament, and I was a freshman, and I was nervous as all can be. And I got in. First time I touched it, I drove it, shot a floater, and it found its way in.
Now, going into that game where you scored your 1500th, and I believe 1502 maybe was the record, and maybe you got that in the same game. Did you know that you were close to the 1500 and to the school record?
Yeah, I knew I was close. We were playing St. Paul, and it was 22 points to tie it, and they let me know I was 3 points away, and then I hit a 3-pointer and tied it up. So first round of districts, and then so I had one more game to beat it, and then I beat it by about 27 points or something like that.
All right. Now, are you familiar with who held it previously?
Yeah, it was my old teammate, Holden Loftman. He plays at Fontbonne College now, but he got it over a good 4-year career, and it was cool to beat that because I'm good friends with him. So,
yeah. Did you let him know?
Yeah, I let him know. He knew it was coming. He knew it was close, and he sent me a text and congratulated me. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. Now, you guys, your season has unfortunately come to an end. What are your plans, if any, for next year?
I plan on playing college basketball. I like basketball way too much to quit now, so I'm gonna try to find somewhere to play near home and get a degree and possibly go into education. Haven't decided yet on that, but yeah.
Have you decided where you're going?
No, I've been narrowing it down, but there hasn't been a final decision. But there is some good colleges that I like that I've been looking at, so that's exciting.
As you look back now, over your high school career, now that it is over, what are some things that really stand out to you? Maybe it's that, I mean, you remembered that first basket, but are there nights or games that really stand out to you as you look back over your career?
Yeah, there are. There's one game we're in the BRL conference and we won it when I was a freshman, and that was really special because it was at Lesterville, and I got to win it with my brother. He was on the team and all my friends, and we got to win it at home. So that was a really special game. And, of course, countless other games that I'll remember for the rest of my life. But that one BRL game was really special because we really weren't supposed to win that, but we did. And it was at home. So it was really cool. So that was probably the best game.
Are there games in your past that you've played that you'd like to go back and play again? Maybe it's a game that got away from you that you felt like you should have won, or maybe it's a game that just you had an incredible game and you want to relive that. Are there games that you look back and say, man, I'd like to go do that one again?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, hard losses, you always are there's some losses that I haven't even watched back on film that are so hard for me to watch. And of course, I'd like to play those again, but think about it, those losses, you might have lost, but yeah, you learn from those losses. So it makes you become the player you are today. So, and yeah, there's nights that I just couldn't miss that I'd like to go back and play again, but I'm pretty happy with the way they all came out.
What's the biggest, you mentioned that BRL championship. What's the biggest win in your career that you can remember? And that may be that game.
It was probably that game. We won. We had 20-win seasons in a row, my freshman and sophomore, and those were all big wins. And I'm trying to think. One, my sophomore year, I think we played Carnahan, and we really was not supposed to beat that team. Big school up in St. Louis, and we beat them. So that was a pretty big upset. So that was a fun game to think back on.
Again, visiting with Nolan Mathis. He is the all-time career leading scorer at Lesterville High School. Nolan, if you could go back to your freshman year and give yourself some advice, what would it be? What would you tell yourself as a freshman?
I've actually thought about this a lot. I was just so anxious to become a good player my freshman year, and I'd probably just tell myself that it's going to happen if you keep working. You work so hard, but it's hard to see progress sometimes, and that's how it kind of was for me as a freshman. But I just tell them to keep going, and just maybe just stop freaking out so much and just look around and appreciate how much of a blessing it is to be able to play basketball with your buddies and be able to play at a high level, and just tell them to appreciate it a little bit more.
You bet. Who do you kind of give credit for to kind of help mold you? Who kind of, maybe it's a coach, a parent, an older brother, an ex-teammate, who really kind of helped you grow into the player that you are? And it may be several.
It is several, yeah, but one person that really pushed me is definitely my older brother. He was a great player himself, and it was really I was really blessed to have him help me become a great player and push me and give me advice, and he still does to this day, even though he's not playing anymore. So I really appreciate him for helping me become the player I am.
Well, Nolan, as part of our Civiers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week, congratulations on setting the new all-time record there at Lesterville, and keep us apprised of what your decisions are, and we'll make sure and promote that as well. But when you make a decision, let us know.
I will. Thank you so much.
You bet. You bet. Nolan Mathis, all-time career leading scorer at Lesterville, and we're going to take a quick timeout, come back and visit with, from McCallie Catholic High School, the women's head basketball coach, Mike Howard, and talk a little bit about their district as well. Nolan, have a great day. And we will step away here real quick, and we'll be right back with Macaulay Catholic.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Coach Howard, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Guy?
I'm doing great, Coach. And you guys playing well right now. On the girls' side, you guys have made it to the district championship. Tell us a little bit about the first round. You got Everton, and then Bernal, and then you've got Golden City that you've had to reschedule.
Yes. We came out against Everton. Didn't really know what to expect against them. Hadn't seen them much or played them much, but our girls played pretty well that game. Right now it's survive and advance. And so even though we didn't play our best game, we still advanced. So that's all that mattered. And then second round, we had Bernal, which was a game we had just played last week, where we went up to their place on their senior night, and they played an outstanding game, had a good game plan. And so we gave credit to them. They took that game against us last week, but we made it an emphasis to not let that happen again. And so we had a good game plan for that game, and got by them in the semifinals. And now we got Golden City in the championship. It's a pretty tall task, but I think we'll be ready for it.
Golden City comes in at 21-5. They've already defeated you earlier this season. What are you guys going to have to do to kind of come out on top this time?
Well, they have a good team. They have great players over there. They're coached well. And so I don't think I had them prepared, our girls prepared enough the first time. We prepared against one defense. They gave us a different one. And so we kind of really had to play that game in the blind, because we weren't ready for what they were running at us. So, these couple of days off here with these snow days are giving us more time to heal, to prepare, to watch film, and to do whatever it takes to have a better game plan going into the next game.
So you guys, you mentioned heal, or have you got some bumps and bruises, or what do you need to heal up?
Oh, Guy, it's been a year of ups and downs. We started out the year 8-0, did some great things, won the Diamond tournament, and then tragedy struck as we lost two of our starters to injury. Our starting forward, Lily Black, was out 7 games with a torn ankle, a twisted ankle. And then our a senior captain and arguably best player, point guard, Kaylee Teeter, she was lost for the year with the torn ACL. I feel bad for that kid. She had a lot of things going for her. She was set to break the all-time scoring record at our school, and she was a big piece of what we do. And so we've really had to adjust since then. And people have been sick, and we've had our fair share of adversity this year. And so one positive comes out of it. It's that the younger kids are being able to step in and get those significant minutes, which means so much coming to district time. And so they've played pretty well these last few games, but it's not without our fair share of adversity this year. But we are playing well, and I feel like we will have a better chance against Golden City this go around.
And Coach, as you go into this championship, you've had to kind of move it around. What have been the challenges? We've had Coach Rissler on earlier in the show, and their district is at Houston, and they've had to move it, and they may have to move that to next Monday or Tuesday to play, just because of the shortage of officials with classes 4, 5, and 6 that are starting.
Sure, absolutely. And that's what we talked about also, is we've had to move our games from the boys' games anyway, from Wednesday night to Thursday night, and then we had to cancel it again and move it to tomorrow night. So our boys will be playing for the semifinals Friday night, and they've moved the girls and the boys championships to Saturday. Now that's hopefully we don't get more weather, because it would be real difficult to move it into next week. But I think that's the most challenging, is not being able to get in and practice, not being able to prepare physically for what it is that you're wanting to do. The only thing that you can do right now is just relax and heal your body and watch film and mentally prepare for what it is that you're going to do. And then hopefully we can get them there tomorrow and get one practice in, and maybe a walkthrough on Saturday before we play.
What are the roads like down in the Joplin area?
Well, I tell you what, I drove around early this morning. The back roads are not well. I mean, they're not good at all, but the main roads are pretty good. But we have, kids that come from everywhere. So it's hard to get them to school, especially younger kids that drive. You don't want to put them in a situation where they might get in an accident just to go to a practice. So, but I can't imagine what the rural areas like Golden City and Lockwood, what their roads are like. They're probably even worse than ours. So again, it's challenging not being able to get out of your house and physically practice the things that you need to work on. But at the same time, safety is paramount, and we don't want to risk anybody's life.
You bet. Coach Howard, as always, we appreciate you being part of the Missouri Sports Network. And if there's anything that we can do for you, just let us know and we'll get it done.
Thank you so much for having me, Guy.
Hey, you bet. Coach Mike Howard from McCullough Catholic Women's Basketball, kind enough to join us, and we will take a timeout real quick here. And when we come back, we'll visit with Salisbury head coach Kenny Wyatt after this message from Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective, and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Missouri Sports Network. Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy, alongside. Certainly glad that you have tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. And we welcome to the Missouri Sports Network here the Salisbury Panthers head basketball coach, Kenny Wyatt, 22-2 on the season, a tremendous season for Salisbury. Coach, tell us a little bit about your team. You guys are on a roll.
Yeah, we're coming off of a team last year that finished 23-3 and had the opportunity to play in the state championship game in Class 2. And we've got 3 players back, 3 guys that started for us last year as juniors that are seniors. And Grant Beer, our center, and Gavin Cobb and Jaden Green kind of play our 1 and 2 spots for us at the guard spot. So they've done a nice job leading us. And then we have a sophomore that didn't get to play last year as a freshman, had an MCL tear in football. And he's kind of stepped in and helped take the place of one of the couple kids that we've lost. And we had an all-stater in Jackson King and another senior last year, Luke Abelin, that graduated for us. So our top 2 scorers were out. And he stepped in and helped replace one of them. And the other kids have kind of stepped up and picked up the points for them. And had another guy, Ethan Hamilton Jr., stepped up and really shot the ball well for us from the perimeter.
Coach, for the folks that have tuned in here at the Missouri Sports Network, kind of talk a little bit about your conference, if you're in a conference, and what that looks like and kind of handicap that.
Yeah, we were in a really tough one, Lewis and Clark conference this year. And at one point during the season, 3 of the teams in Lewis and Clark were ranked in top 10 in Class 2. Us and Harrisburg, which we have to play tomorrow night or Saturday night in the district championship game. And then a really good Western team that finished their season last night. Harrisburg beat them by 4 in the semifinals of our district, 54-50. And they finished, I think, 24-3. So really top heavy conference. And all 3 of us, we beat Harrisburg. Harrisburg beat Western, and then Western knocked us off last week. So we have a 3-way tie in the conference. We only play single round robin.
Coach, now you've got a district. You get Slater, 58-53. Now you've got a big matchup with Harrisburg. It'll be the 3rd time this season that you've matched up with them. 5 to 7 points in both games. You were victorious in both. It's awful tough to be a good team 3 times in the same season. What are you guys going to have to do to get the victory against Harrisburg?
Yeah, we played them in the Centralia tournament back in December, and we was able to win that 51-46 with just a 5-point victory. And then in the conference game last Tuesday, we won 52-45 at our place. So both games were back and forth, and we had a real good third quarter. I think outscored them 17-3 in the third quarter last week in the conference game. And they're basically the same team that they had last year, and we split with them last year. And these kids, especially the seniors, they've got a lot of seniors on their team, and the 3 kids that we've got that are seniors, we know each other real well. There's not going to be really any secrets. And, we're going to have to play a really good ball game, and they're going to have to play the same. So it's kind of tough in our district. We were in District 7, Class 2, and to have 3 teams that were ranked in the top 10. It's it makes it pretty tough. Somebody's got to go home, so it's going to be really disappointing for one of our teams. But we got an opportunity to play. We made a nice comeback last night against Slater. We were down 15 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter in that game last night. So nice comeback by our kids. They stuck together and to give us a chance to try to get our second straight district title.
Again, visiting with Salisbury Panther head coach Kenny Wyatt. And Coach Wyatt, another opportunity here for you. You picked up your 700th career victory. Talk about what that means as a head coach.
Well, one thing, I don't want it to overshadow, the team that's, the team accomplishments that this team's trying to do. But, you've got to do it a long time, and you've got to have some kids that buy into what you want to do. And, I guess 700, that's what, 35 years, average 20 wins a season. So, I'm proud of that obviously. But, I think as a coach, you don't, high school coaching, you don't do it for the money. I just think that, think about 35 years of coaching young men that you has some kind of positive effect, in their life. And, because when you get to those numbers, those milestones career wise, you kind of think about all the kids that played for you going years back. And, it was a nice accomplishment, and but it's kind of something that you kind of look at whenever you decide to hang the whistle up.
Coach, kind of go through where did you start, and how long have you been at Salisbury?
This is my 27th year at Salisbury. I was came out of college and got a job at a Class 1 school in North Central Missouri, Buckland, Missouri, up around the Marceline, Brookfield area. Coached there for 5 years. Went to Brunswick, Missouri, which is just west of Salisbury, for a year. Then I was at Marceline for a couple years. They're kind of known for their football a little more than their basketball, but I was there for 2 years. Then I'm 27 years here at Salisbury. So, and coached girls teams for, I think I coached girls for 7 years. So I did both. I was kind of not very smart trying to coach girls and boys, but I coached girls for 7 years. And those girls' victories aren't included in that 700 number. That 700 number is just varsity boys.
Coach, as I talk to coaches a lot of times that have got to these milestones, the question I'll ask is there a game that you'd like to go back and play again or coach again? Maybe it's a game that you really enjoyed. Maybe it was a state championship. But most coaches go back to the ones that got away from them. I'd like to have another shot at that district championship. Are there games that you look at and think, I'd like to go back and do that again?
Well, I think I've had the opportunity to coach in 8 quarterfinal games, and that quarterfinal game to me is one of the most pressure-packed games that you possibly can play. And I was trying to either it's 7 or 8. Anyway, I'm only like 4-4. So there's been I had an opportunity. I had twin sons back in 2011, 12, and 13, and we lost the quarterfinal game in 2011, and then we're able to make it to the state championship game in 12, and then won it all in 2013. But probably some of those, one of the 3 quarterfinal losses, I think you just maybe try to figure out something else you could have done just a little bit different. And had a really good team in 2006, 26-1, and we lost to a Harrisburg team that were getting ready to play again that we'd beaten earlier in the year. And we lost to them in a district title. Those 3 quarterfinal losses probably, and then that district championship loss to Harrisburg back in 2006. And like you said, there's been a lot. Last year our run, we won a lot of close ball games. We were down in the district championship game last year to Slater, and came back and won a close one, and then beat Lincoln by 1, and was able to beat Wellsville in double overtime. And so there's been on the win side a lot of them that's pretty exciting too. But if you're talking about losses, it'd have to be those quarterfinal losses.
Coach, if you could go back that 35 years to a first-year head coach, Kenny Wyatt, what advice would you give yourself now that you've got this under your belt? What would you get? What would you tell him to do, or to what advice would you give yourself?
Well, I think it kind of depends a little bit on your age. I think as a young coach coming out of college, one of the things that I learned is you've got to get their respect first. I think that's they got to know where they stand. You got to be consistent. with what you do, and that would be my biggest advice, because you come out of college, you're not that much older than the kids you're coaching, and you can't be their friend. And I think as you get older, it becomes a little harder. You have to kind of work to relate to them a little more and try to get closer to them, and on a one-on-one basis, because that difference in age makes that a little tougher. And that's probably the biggest thing. You've got to gain their respect first, and you got to get the kids not only to want to win for themselves, but they want to win for you, and that's the big thing.
You bet. Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate your time. You've got a huge game with Harrisburg, 1 o'clock on Saturday, I believe. And we certainly wish you well in that, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to visit on down the road as you make another run. But and on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Central Bank of the Ozarks, congratulations on career victory number 700.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Coach Kenny Wyatt, they're from Salisbury. We'll take a quick timeout, come back and talk a little Dora Falcons basketball with head coach Cole Garnett after this message from Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks.
You want to go out, Walter? Let's go.
Pace yourself.
You call that defense?
Make it quick, buddy.
One evening as the sun
That
went
should
down,
shed some
the
light on the subject.
fire was burning.
Where'd you get that bone, pal?
How you doing? I got a package for you.
No, Walter! He's a civil servant!
That's
incredible. Oh, yeah. It's a Chevy Silverado Trail Boss. This thing's built for off-roading right from the factory.
No, I meant the cat.
It's like nobody's seen a cat before.
The Chevy Silverado Trail Boss.
Hey, Walter, let's get this man some hot cocoa.
Oh, that sounds good.
Find new friends, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, presented by a Great Southern Bank, Labor's Local 663, who reminds us to drive safely in work zones. Everyone wants to go home this evening. Going down to Dora, Missouri, and head coach Cole Garnett. And, Coach, you guys, you got a big one coming up.
Yes, we do. We're kind of in the same boat everybody else is around here. We're iced in at the moment and hopefully going to get it in soon.
Yeah. Let's take us through that run that the Lady Falcons have gone on here through the district. You got Bakersfield 54-41, and now you've got Kabul. What do you know about Kabul?
Well, we've played them twice already this year. We got them down at Dora to early on, first 3 weeks of season. We played really well that game, and we were able to come out with a win there. And then we saw them in the Mountain Christmas in the second round, and we were able to get them, I think, by 9 or 10 in that one. It was a game where me and Coach Beller at Kabul both joked. I think we both missed 12 free throws in the fourth quarter, so we didn't want to win it, but neither did they. So we did everything we could do to lose that game, both of us. And you know what they say about that third game. It's real hard to beat someone 3 times in the same season.
Yeah, we were just talking with Coach Kenny Wyatt up at Salisbury, and they're taking on Harrisburg Saturday at 1 o'clock in their district championship. Be the third time they've played them. They're both state ranked, but they've actually won the 2 previous games, so that'll be a challenge. Now, with regards to the weather, right now it looks like you're scheduled for tomorrow. Any thoughts of maybe having to move that? And I don't know what the roads are like where you are.
I got out early this morning. Me and my wife, we actually live just outside of West Plains. Our little back highway is completely covered. And then the main road out of town, 160 that comes into West Plains out here it wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it certainly wasn't good. I can't imagine the roads out at Dora, or, we normally go up the back way from Dora to Kabul, but if we have to play tomorrow, I don't see how we're going to get there. I was talking to my athletic director earlier today, and he was up at school. He only lives like 3 miles away. He said the parking lot at school is just a sheet of ice, and there's just no way to clear it. And if you can't even get the bus in and out of school, I don't imagine they'll let us go on a trip in it.
Yeah. Well, then it becomes an issue with officials, with
Yes.
classes 4, 5, and 6 starting, and then everybody playing on the same night in classes 1, 2, and 3. It's really going to put kind of a chokehold, so to speak, on the funnel of officials. But Coach, how you guys playing right now?
Well, I heard a coach on here earlier say survive and advance, and that's what it is right now. I don't necessarily think we played our best Monday night against Bakersfield. Now, as a coach, you say that, but give credit to the team you played. They came out and did some stuff that gave us some issues. We got to practice a couple times and work on it at least. I felt like our last practice was really good. Felt like came home from it and said, let's go play now. We're ready to play right now. I don't care if it's 7:30 at night, 8 o'clock. We were ready to play. We struggled a bit to end the season, but our last 2-3 games, I felt like we turned it around a little bit. But like Bakersfield, for instance, we played them last Tuesday at Bakersfield and then turn around and play them again the next Monday. So, we played twice in 6 days, and it doesn't matter who you play. If you play someone twice in 6 days, that's tough to overcome, especially when you feel like, I don't know, the bye as the 1 seed, I felt like maybe we had some pressure on us. We came out a little nervous, played a little tight. I told them at practice the next day, I said, okay, you can breathe now. You made the championship game. You're where you're supposed to be. Let's go out and play loose and just play with confidence.
Outstanding. What are you doing between now and then? I mean, you probably aren't able to even practice.
No, we can't practice. We're like Coach Rissler up at Licking. We got to practice yesterday. My superintendent told me if I could get them in and then get them home before the weather got here, we could practice. So we at least got one in yesterday morning. Today, though, last night when I was sitting here, I'd already told the girls we're not practicing tomorrow. If we do end up playing, we'll come in a little bit before we leave. But I bet there's an inch of sleet on my little slab of concrete out here in front of the garage this morning. So there's just no way to risk, there's no justifiable reason to risk kids driving in this kind of weather and on the roads. It's at the end of the day, it is just a game, and it's more important for them to be safe and at home rather than out in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah. Have you had any conversations about having to move it into Saturday or even into next week?
Me and Coach Beller talked this morning, and we're trying for tomorrow. That's the last word I've got from him. My superintendent called me earlier, and he's questioning whether we'll be able to, but we're going to try to give it a go Friday because of, like you said, and like everybody else has said, with class 4, 5, and 6 starting up on Saturday, who are you going to get to call the games? I know there's some guys out there around that aren't doing district tournaments, but if you've got every single classification in the state playing on Saturday, we already have an official shortage for regular season games. Can you imagine if there's, 400 something games on Saturday afternoon and evening and trying to get officials worked out for that? I don't know. I don't see the plausibility of being able to get officials for Saturday. So after that, I guess it'd have to be, Monday or Tuesday at some point.
Yeah, you bet. Well, Coach, and again, we've been visiting with Dora Falcon head coach Cole Garnett. We certainly appreciate you being generous with your time. We've had a good day today at the Missouri Sports Network and kind of traveled around the state and got most of it's been weather updates.
Yes.
But that's been a lot of it. And of course, I don't believe anybody south of I-70 probably had school today. So
I can't imagine they did.
You bet. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time and best of luck, and we'll hope to do this again.
All righty. Thank you.
You bet. Dora Falcon head coach Cole Garnett here on the Missouri Sports Network. Certainly glad that you have tuned in today. We appreciate your time. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.